All right, welcome everyone to this Filecoin Core Devs meeting number 40. Today is Thursday, April 7th, and this is meeting one of the two Core Devs calls that we will now be hosting on a bi-weekly basis. We have a relatively short agenda today as well, so just an FYI, if anyone has any walk-on topics, today would be a great day to introduce them. But as always, we'll start with key updates from all of the implementation teams, as well as a quick update from myself and the Filecoin Foundation. We'll give everyone a brief reminder of what's happening with the planned Network v16 Skyr upgrade. And then again, we'll open up the floor for anything else that you'd like to discuss. So to kick it off, a lot of updates from the Forest team this week. Would someone like to jump in and share?
Cool. Thank you, Caitlin. Well, on our end, mostly we have updated the team wiki, so now you can view the team registered as well as the daily communications that we have with stakeholders and as well as the Forest roadmap, things that we have accomplished and what we are going to accomplish. That's planned for 2022. And we are definitely working with Lotus and the FVM team to help them with the built-in actors testing. And David can probably communicate more on that, and I'll pass it to him to speak a few words on that.
Yeah, so we've started working on converting all the tests that were written in Go over to the Rust side, and made good progress on that. And we hope to have all the tests converted in a short amount of time. Yeah, I don't know what else people want to hear about that, but if anyone has any questions, then I would love to answer them.
Also, as a brief note for anyone who may have missed the announcement, David is taking over from Elizabeth as the team lead from Forest. So David, we're happy to have you in your new role, of course, but appreciate you being here this morning too.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Caitlin. I completely missed to mention that. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Any questions again for the Forest team? All right. I saw Maxim, you were able to join. Would you mind giving updates for Fuhan?
Sure. Thank you, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. So for Fuhan, recently we've been focused on integrating FVM and make it work into the on the mainnet. It seems to be working just fine at the moment. All the checks that we have planned are passing. Node is stable and in sync to the mainnet, so everything seems to be working fine. We're also working on finalizing testing scenarios. Well, integration testing, let's put it this way, for the Snapdeal support for Fuhan Miner. There were several issues found on the previous week, so we had to address them, and now we're continuing, basically reiterating through the integration testing. Yeah, that would be about it. And we are in the process of building the CLI. No major like updates from this perspective. Just adding support for the new methods, but like activity is quite long because we have to support a lot of calls, and we expect it to be finished somewhere next month.
Great. And Maxim, also, I saw your note about wanting to discuss the node state compaction proposal that your team is working on. And if it works for you, if you're still sort of testing that, we can discuss that sort of in a longer forum next week, if that works, or in 2 weeks, if that works.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We can, well, actually we can touch the idea today at the end of the meeting if you'll have time, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it will be productive unless I will show some data and measurements.
Okay, it's up to you, but we will have time, so you can decide then if you'd like to share.
Okay.
Great. All right. Any last questions for the Fuhan team? All right, Lotus team.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry for not like having the blurb here, but this team is basically just working really hard, allow us forest team on FVM stuff. Hopefully, updating the built-in actors, implementing FIP 31, 32, and 27. FIP 27 is already implemented and merged. Right now, Skyr is working on the migration. So this looks good. We are going to be starting to test the network V16 upgrade in our private network this week, and then hopefully launch to the community facing public testnet next week. We also started a very intensive round of internal audit and the area of concern hardening work on FVM.
Wonderful. I'm very excited too to see the updates that Ayush was able to share about the FVM FIPS. So going to follow up before the end of the week, but it looks like we're closer than ever to getting those through their last call and finally approved for V16 too, which is great. So thank you for all of your hard work. All right. Any additional questions for Jennifer or the Lotus team? All right. So as mentioned, the Venus team does not join us in this meeting. They join us at meeting 2, which will be hosted in a few hours. But on their side, they're also working on release candidates to support the switch to the FVM network version 16. And they also recently launched venushub.io, which is a collaborative project that they worked on with the Filecoin Foundation, which includes a bunch of onboarding materials and other tools for storage providers looking to use the Venus implementation. So do recommend you check it out if you want to see what that looks like. It's a really cool project they put a lot of time into. And other than that, they're also scoping some upcoming feature enhancements for long-term development of Venus and working with some other teams in the Filecoin ecosystem for that work as well. So if you're interested either in the specifics of their research and scoping with FileDrive or others, or you're curious about how they're organizing some of this work, let me know. We can put something together, or you can reach out to Stephen directly, of course. Any questions you'd like me to share with the Venus team? All right. And any last questions for any of the implementation teams before we move on? All right. So from the Filecoin Foundation, not too many changes in terms of the current list of FIPs. The only one, of course, is that FIP 27 is in last call until tomorrow. Everything's looking great. We fully expect that this FIP will be accepted and will be implemented as part of network version 16 as well. And again, the only thing that I am following very, very closely is the final confirmation that FIPs 30, 31, and 32 are complete, so that we can move them into their last call status as well. And it sounds like we may actually be able to consider doing that early next week. But of course, the timeline is very tentative, still in particular around FIP 32, which is going to be those gas parameter changes. Any questions about the current list of FIPs? No? All right. And we do not have Dudley on the call today. So Dudley has announced that he is resigning from the foundation, moving into a new role. So he is no longer going to be joining us here or in other calls. If you have active audits that he had been managing that are ongoing, do reach out to me so that we can put an interim plan in place to get those over the finish line. But just a note that for right now, I will be triaging all questions about security, flagging any bugs or risks on behalf of the foundation as well. And we will have people communicating directly with implementation teams as needs arise before someone is able to come in and fulfill this need for us longer term. Any questions or immediate concerns for the entire group about this?
No, maybe just a note that Dudley was kind of helping me out structure auditors for FVM, but maybe, I don't know, like, should I include somebody else? But we can talk about this offline. Just in case, because some of the contacts were his, but I also know that the same people. So we were discussing that, and I came back from vacation and he was in a couple of threads, but I don't think it's like, it's not disrupting anything. We just need to see how to manage it from now on.
Okay, great. Yeah, the challenge with audits is that they're always super time constrained as well as capacity constrained. But he has been able to, I think he does have a roll-off plan that's in place. I don't know the details of it yet, but you and I can connect directly to make sure that while things are still moving now, that they continue to do that. So.
Yeah. No immediate like a risk or anything, just a point of discussion for us in the weeks to come.
Okay, great. And I'll make a note too. Looks like we have a few other questions. Lee, is your hand up?
Yeah, thanks, Caitlin. Just was wondering, like, what would be the state of the security audit for the ref FVM and the built-in actors at this point? Because that was a conversation we were having with Dudley. So just a quick update on that would be helpful.
Yeah, I do wish I had one for you. So his offboarding has come relatively quickly, and especially in regards to this audit status, I do not know. So I will reach out to you also after this meeting so we can begin to coordinate needs more specifically, but I don't have updates for you currently. And sorry for the turbulence around this.
Yeah, maybe just an idea, because it's the same subject matter. We can probably attend the same call and just discuss this, because it's like touching all sides. And FVM is in my head like P0 priority to be delivered in version 16. So this needs to be audited, of course. And we are touching the same repos. So just if we want to unify on the topic, that would be great.
Yeah, great idea. Let's schedule a follow-up call, and anyone who has active audits should be able to join, and we can sort of figure out next steps. Should also clarify that in being able to sort of make sure that we can assign you resources for active needs and ongoing projects. I do not have deep insight into the actual status of any of Dudley's ongoing work yet, in part because I'm currently offsite at a conference, and in part because he announced his resignation just last week. So it's still kind of developing. Jennifer, do you have a question?
Yes, I actually have like more information I can provide from my
Great.
side. Since the turbulence started, of course, the foundation and PL want to work on that immediately, because security is very critical for our network and so on and so forth. So currently we have a couple action plan that's been getting put together. So on the regular security at the Filecoin.io or security bug bounty, it covers all implementation or anything that's running on the Filecoin network today. So right now, that charging, that email threat charging, was handled by Dudley, but now it's getting passed to Parse, PARTH, which is a new member of the Filecoin Foundation since 2-3 months ago, I believe. So he will be still in charging of that, and temporarily I will be the TPM, kind of helping manage him and connecting people and forwarding the report to different implementation if anything is critical. I will be passing that information to all the implementers here. We will be having ERIN, he to be in charge for the bug bounty and the audit payment, and we will have Dragon Eva or FVM already bug bounty external audit end to end. So Eva is currently reaching out to Parse to set up a meeting to figure out, because all the incoming report will go through the security at Filecoin, the email address initially, and Parse potentially will do the first round of charge and then forward any FVM related security report to the FVM.security at email address. That's how we can, divide the concord responsibility there. Potentially, we're hoping to set a meeting soon, next week. If anyone here wants to join that meeting and coordinate further and be aligned on what our action plan is, please do let Caitlin or myself know. We can include everyone there. But yeah, and also I believe on the Filecoin and both PL side, we will be joining the effort to start hiring for this role, more permanently as our our top priority. But yeah, just feel like these are the information maybe can be helpful to the rest of the group.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We can crowdsource a solution, until we're able to hire someone who can fulfill this role full time. I didn't know that you had already spoken with Parth, so I'll invite him to this meeting going forward too, just so he can stand in and be in the loop. And yeah, you and I should think about scheduling a meeting for everyone. And we can obviously broadcast it so that anyone who needs to join or has open questions can ask them there. All right. Any other questions or items? Yep. And in the chat, Lee will make sure to keep Forrest in the loop. I think ref FVM actors, the audit ongoing is the #1 priority for everyone. Yeah. All right. So with that, again, just a reminder of the current upcoming network status, link to the test plan, as well as all of the FIPs that have already been previously agreed on for implementation once they're accepted. Any questions, updates, or anything else anyone would like to share in advance of the upgrade?
As you guys can see that first we have launched FVM M.05 blog post last week, all for implementation. I believe not Forest because it's ongoing, but the other 3 implementation all have a way for people to run a canary tag and run FVM in mainnet. So that's very exciting. We are continuously testing and make sure the FVM and built-in actor actually works. We might have another state mismatch discovered this morning, and Aish currently is fighting on that. So that's and he just yelled he fixed it, yay! But that's very exciting. But as you guys can see, we were supposed to have the Butterfly Net upgrade last week, but because all the security audit internally or external security audit work were ongoing, that somewhat adds more work to the development timeline. So far, the latest we're looking at is doing the Butterfly Net upgrade next Thursday. We will have to do a thorough evaluation again. Hopefully I will have a more precise timeline for you guys, say in next week. But once again, FVM is a huge change to the network. The security is the most important thing we have in mind, and we don't want to rush it. So please, for the community, it's please understand all the necessary steps we are taking into consideration on that, and we will keep everyone updated on the progress.
Thanks, Jennifer. Let's also work together, unless you already have it in GitHub and it's just not updated here, which is my responsibility. Let's share an upgraded timeline with everyone, just in Phil implementers also, so that there's a sort of a dynamic point of reference that everyone can look at over the coming few weeks also.
Yeah, will do.
Cool. All right, any other last questions? All right. So wanted to quickly note some of the FVM updates that Ayush had put in place as well. As mentioned, FIP 30 and 31 are in review, and FIP 32 is close to completion. A lot of teams previously have been able to sync up through version 15 of the network with the FVM, and they're currently working on version 16. So as Jennifer mentioned, getting through the security audit is currently the #1 priority, as well as squashing some early bugs that are emerging. Any other updates, questions, anything anyone wants to pose to the group?
Yeah, I know this was briefly mentioned before my vacation, but we are also doing a early builders program, which is called FVM Foundry, that is going to kick off next Wednesday. So I'm just thinking, how do we include these updates? Because I think it's also relevant for the core devs. Just in FVM section, if we are going to keep it, maybe that can be a part of the where we do updates on what's happening in the Foundry. Because right now it's super small and people are just looking into what they can do with the node and everything we provided. But maybe on in a month from now or 2 months from now, it's going to be really interesting what those people are presenting and what they're doing for FVM. So just thinking ahead.
Yeah, that's a great question or a great comment. We should just keep sort of an open tab for it in the slides, and Drake and I can reach out and ask you for updates if you're okay being the point person for it.
Yeah, that and the audits will probably go under me, and Ava will help. So just
Great.
for like future presentations, feel free to ping me.
Great. Sounds good. I definitely will. All right. Any other? Yep.
Yeah, I had one question, Caitlin. Sorry, I may have missed. So looks like the mainnet upgrade for the FVM is in May. Will we be able to get the audit done before that, or we are moving in without it? That's my question.
That's a good one. I think we should discuss this next week in a separate meeting with Jennifer as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. We've also long considered the timeline a little bit more tentative. Yep.
Except for a couple, but I will let Dragon speak to it. Like, so there are a couple parallel line we're going on the audit right now, including the external audit, bug bounties, and also we will have kind of like Alex Wade, who has been helping us a lot since like mainnet or even pre-mainnet on auditing actors and like Go actors and Lotus and everything. He will also be helping out here with FVM audit starting next week. So that's also very exciting. We definitely want to do a thorough audit before we launch on that. So the mainnet upgrade timeline definitely will be kind of like might be impacted by the security discovery in the progress, and the goal is to define the scope, define what's like urgent, and again, we are not subcharging network security for FVM, so we will, we'll see as it goes.
Yeah, I want to co-sign everything Jennifer said, but also you can think of it as a separate project for FVM and like a separate work stream that is going to be ongoing until like the end of this year. In terms of like, we're going to have people who specialize in something do the audit. We're going to have ongoing audits. We're going to have Alex Ray take a look from his perspective. But definitely a short answer is no, we won't go into like a network upgrade without doing the audit and having confirmation that everything works according to how we specify it and how we actually implemented that. But yeah, Alex Wade is great. So as soon as he starts, plus our internal audit, like we have the biggest experts that do Filecoin looking into this from the past 2 or 3 weeks. So all of this is kind of giving us reassurance that we are doing the right thing. But also at some point we want to include external auditors that, for example, specialized in WASM or how do you compile things, or Rust experts. So yeah, this is a really massive change if you look at it from every perspective, especially with the M1 and M2 goals.
Thanks, guys. Lee, any follow-up questions or from anyone else?
No, I don't. Thank you, Caitlin.
All right. Then otherwise, we have no other items that were prepared for the agenda today. As always, open discussion if anyone has any additional topics they'd like to bring up to the group. Again, this is a recorded call, so if you have security concerns, outstanding audit concerns, we will schedule a meeting next week, which everyone is welcome to join. That will not be recorded so that we can discuss these things in greater detail. But as always, any last items? All right. Well, then thank you everyone for joining today. You can have some time back in your hour since we have a shorter meeting this week. And thanks again for all of your hard work. There's been a lot of updates going on and a lot of work that's been put in to prepare for the upgrade and the FVM also, especially with sort of changing capacity. So do appreciate it as always, and we'll be in touch sooner rather than later with any updates to the audit procedure, timeline for V16, and any follow-up meetings that you may be interested in joining as well. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.